Right, so picture this, it's 1947, Britain's knackered after the war, rationing's still a thing, and Maurice Wilks, Rover's chief designer, fancies a bit of off-roading. Problem is, vehicles are about as common as a vegetarian butcher. So, what's a bloke to do? Design his own, of course. Wilks, clever chap, sees a gap in the market. Farmers need tough, go-anywhere vehicles. Enter the Land Rover, sketched out on the beach, no less, inspired by the American Willys Jeep, but with a British twist. It's basic, utilitarian, and tough as old boots. Perfect for a nation rebuilding itself. The first Land Rover, the Series 1, rolls off the production line in 1948. It's a hit. Farmers love it. The military wants a piece. Even the Queen is seen behind the wheel. Not bad for a car that was basically designed on a napkin. The series Land Rovers, they were the real deal. Built to last, simple mechanics, and unstoppable off-road. They weren't pretty, mind you, they were more functional than fashionable. Like a good pair of wellies, they were built for purpose, not for posing. The Series 1, 2 and the 3 evolved over the years. Engines got bigger, roofs went up, and the Land Rover became a common sight from the Serengeti to the Sahara. These weren't just cars, they were tools. Tools for exploration, for adventure, for getting things done no matter the terrain. And they were reliable, I mean seriously reliable, the kind of reliable that could get you through the jungle, across the desert, and back in time for tea. Now fast forward to 1970, the world had changed. People wanted a bit of luxury with their off-road ability. They wanted a vehicle that could handle the school run and the Himalayas with equal aplomb. Enter the Range Rover. A revolutionary vehicle that combined go-anywhere capability with unheard-of comfort and refinement. It was a stroke of genius. The Range Rover was in a class of its own. It was as happy cruising down Park Lane as it was crossing the Darien Gap. It was a car for adventurers who didn't want to sacrifice their creature comforts. The Range Rover was a game-changer, and it spawned a whole new segment in the automotive world, the luxury SUV. Meanwhile, the trusty Land Rover, now christened the Defender, continued its reign as the king of the off-road. It was the vehicle of choice for farmers, explorers, and anyone who needed a vehicle that could take a beating and keep on going. The Defender was as basic as it gets. No fancy electronics, no air conditioning, just pure, unadulterated utility. But that was its charm. It was a blank canvas for adventure. You could take it anywhere, do anything, and it would never let you down. It was the vehicle that launched 1,000 expeditions. From the frozen wastelands of the Arctic to the sweltering jungles of the Amazon, the Defender was there. By the late 1980s, Land Rover realized there was another gap in the market. Families were growing, and they needed a vehicle that was spacious, practical, and of course capable. The answer, the Discovery. The Discovery was a departure for Land Rover. It was more family-friendly, more affordable, and more practical than the Range Rover, but it was still a Land Rover through and through. It could handle the rough stuff, but it was also comfortable enough for long journeys with the kids. The Discovery was a hit, and it quickly became one of Land Rover's best-selling models. It cemented Land Rover's reputation as a manufacturer of vehicles that were as capable as they were versatile. Over the decades, Land Rover has never stood still. They've constantly innovated, pushing the boundaries of what's possible in off-road technology. From the early days of leaf springs and beam axles to the sophisticated air suspension and terrain response systems of today, Land Rover has always been at the forefront of off-road innovation. They were one of the first manufacturers to introduce features like permanent four-wheel drive, electronic traction control, and hill descent control. These technologies made Land Rovers even more capable off-road, making them accessible to a wider range of drivers. But it wasn't just about off-road prowess. Land Rover also made significant strides in comfort, luxury, and performance. They introduced powerful engines, luxurious interiors, and cutting-edge infotainment systems, making their vehicles as desirable on the road as they were off it. Section 7. Global adventures and enduring appeal. Conquering terrain and capturing hearts. Land Rovers have always had a sense of adventure about them. They're the kind of vehicles that make you want to pack a bag, grab a map, and just go. And go they have. Land Rovers have been to every corner of the globe, from the highest mountains to the deepest deserts. They've been used by explorers, adventurers, and scientists to reach some of the most remote and inhospitable places on Earth. They've been used in countless expeditions, rallies, and adventures, cementing their reputation as the ultimate go-anywhere vehicles. But it's not just about the extreme. Land Rovers have also captured the hearts of millions of people around the world who simply appreciate their unique blend of capability, luxury, and style. They've become a symbol of adventure, of freedom, of a life less ordinary. Section 8. Land Rover in the modern era, a legacy embraces sustainability. Now, even icons have to move with the times. Land Rover knows this. They're not afraid to embrace new technologies, to make their vehicles more efficient, more sustainable, without compromising on what makes a Land Rover a Land Rover. They've introduced hybrid and electric powertrains, reducing their environmental impact without sacrificing performance. They're using sustainable materials in their vehicles and reducing their manufacturing footprint. Because even adventurers care about the planet. Land Rover understands that the adventures of the future will require a different approach, one that balances the thrill of exploration with the need to protect the planet. Section 9. Looking ahead, the future of Land Rover. So what's next for Land Rover? Well, one thing's for sure. They're not going to rest on their laurels. They're going to keep innovating, keep pushing the boundaries, keep building vehicles that inspire and excite. We can expect to see even more electrification, even more advanced technology, and even more capable and desirable vehicles. But one thing will always remain constant: the Land Rover spirit of adventure, that sense of freedom, of capability, of pushing the limits. That's what makes a Land Rover a Land Rover. And that's something that will never go out of style. Section 10, Conclusion, a legacy forged in adventure, refined by time. From those humble beginnings on a beach in Wales, Land Rover has come a long way. They've created some of the most iconic and capable vehicles the world has ever seen. Vehicles that have explored every corner of the globe, that have been used by everyone from farmers to royalty. The Land Rover legacy is one of adventure, of capability, of a refusal to compromise. It's a legacy that's been forged over decades of innovation, of pushing the boundaries of what's possible, and it's a legacy that shows no signs of slowing down. Land Rover is a brand that's constantly evolving, constantly looking to the future while staying true to its roots. So here's to the next 75 years of adventure. Cheers to Land Rover.